All right, it is June 11th, Wednesday, 2025, here in the great state of Texas, grand city of Houston. We down here in the dirty third, y'all. And your boy has a hair appointment at about 0930 on Westheimer. We've got our AI student driver, FSD supervised 13.2.9. Let's see if it's up for the task. Just to get started, we don't really see too many disengagements, but there has been one that's been popping up quite prevalent, and that's when we're at an intersection and we're turning left or something like that, like we're in a turn only lane, and it treats every light as if it's a yield light. I mean, it blows right through it if it's green, as it's supposed to, but if it's red, it will stop, or it will roll into it if there's no traffic, treating it kind of like a yield light. Up ahead, we have a left turn that's yield, so if it was the lead car up here, it would probably try to blow through that. At least that's what I've been experiencing. So we're not turning left, we're keeping straight, and but that is the only intervention. You know, it's kind of safety critical. It probably needs to be paying attention to those traffic lights, but it wouldn't go if there was no car. Unfortunately, everybody around us is anticipating us to behave according to that traffic light, right? So it's not like it's gonna put me in harm's way. I've never seen it. It only does it when it's empty, like there is no reason for us to be sitting there, but you know, with the exception of that traffic light. Either way, that's the only thing I've seen as an issue with 13.2.9 in my region thus far. There's some other things like lane issues. We've got some brand new construction out here in the greater Houston area of Katy, Texas. So some of these roads are being expanded. They're kind of blocking off some roads. Some lanes will have markings like this that our AI student drivers like, why the is this blocked off? It's perfectly good road. But as you can see on the visualization here, it's double yellow. It knows it can't go over there. But on some of these other, like say, this is a turn only lane. If it were to keep straight, it could, right? It could go into this subdivision despite it being a turn only lane. So and even if those lane markings were marked off, it's like, well, it's still good road. Little things like that, like it's not, it needs more data, obviously, for it to understand the nuances of some of these lane markings and even some of these traffic symbols, I'd imagine. But you know, that's what Tesla's AI team is for. That's what they're going to, you know, hopefully smash into a brand new model that has more capabilities. All of this takes time, energy, and effort, which makes me even more bullish on Tesla, because I know they're the only ones that want to see this through. First and foremost, they're the only ones that think that a vision-only approach is satisfactory. Actually, it'll probably be more satisfactory than something with a lot of redundancy. That's what I hear a lot of people talking about when comparing Waymo to Tesla, is Waymo's redundancy for safety, when in actuality, it's kind of like an illusion, right? Because that redundancy, it puts out poor performance, possibly. And granted, it's a software issue, right? Eventually, with enough dedication, timing, and the merging of the data from all the sensors, it could be seamless. But at this stage of the game, Tesla has been able to remove that redundancy, which is causing a bit of error when it comes to the decision making for the car, right? Does it listen to the LiDAR? Does it, well, Tesla's never had LiDAR, but the problem would persist. Does it listen to the LiDAR? Does it listen to the radar? Does it listen to the cameras? Which data set holds priority? And I guess you could program in there, in this circumstance, you could do this, but all of this, it provides some latency, right? Tesla's able to make decisions on a dime. It's able to assess trajectories of all the vehicles out there, things that are in motion, not in motion, being where it's supposed to be according to the map, not blocking areas of egress. Tesla's software, and you know, these LiDAR only systems, well, not LiDAR only, but these multiple sensory systems, they have vision as well. It's just they're not relying as much on it, using radar and LiDAR as crutches to, you know, like I said, it's no knock. It's safe. Waymo is safe. I've never driven in one, but I don't knock Waymo for doing what they're doing. It's helping, obviously. You know, I'd rather the Waymo drive than a distracted, inebriated, just, you know, somebody that is going to pose a problem. The robot, regardless if it has LiDAR, radar, or just vision, is focused solely on the task of driving, right? So before we even decide on what's more convenient, we're talking about safety. Waymo is safe. I don't want to, Waymo is absolutely safe. But some people would like to say that since Tesla has abandoned these more expensive sensors, they want to put it under the guise that it's for a pocketbook's sake, right? To save a little bit of money, we'll remove these expensive sensors and put the customer at risk, when that is not the case. Tesla has found a way to make this system as safe, if not safer, because of its reaction time ability in relying on vision. It is absolutely safe. I don't feel any safer than when I have FSD engaged. And I haven't even experienced the model that they're testing in Austin just yet. I can only imagine the level of security that they must have to put that on the roads in Austin without a driver in the driver's seat monitoring the software. It's remarkable. So I just want to kind of debunk that. Tesla is testing in Austin. They feel comfortable that this thing is safer than a human driver, and it's going to be efficient. You're going to be able to scale this up with remarkable efficiency. Even if it's not Tesla, other auto manufacturers will be able to do this without the need to purchase expensive sensors, outfitting their current vehicle lineups with, you know, this restructure of a vehicle. Nah, none of that. Tesla's doing this with pure vision. The cameras, most vehicles already have cameras on the car. It might take some mild adjustment of the locations of those cameras, the dimensions of the said vehicles, but this is something that is potentially scalable to every vehicle on the planet. But yeah, that's what, you know. Waymo's good. I just believe that Tesla will be as good, if not better, and a more viable solution for the transformation of transportation. That's all I'm saying. And for me, I see an opportunity there, considering the future is going to be electric and autonomous. I think there's a lot of room for growth there. And if you're Tesla, making Model Ys is something that they do better than everybody else can make their own vehicles. It's just, the Model Ys that are coming out of Giga Austin are the same Model Ys that they use for the Robotaxi that you could use to purchase today. So they're gonna also have their first vehicle autonomously drive to its customer by the end of June. We're talking about a new era. of what you expect your automotive company to be able to do. And that's why I am fully invested in TSLA. I not only use the products, I'm a believer that everyone is going to not only want to use these products, but it's only gonna make sense, right? It's in some ways that it could very well be mandatory to have software like FSD on vehicles. And as a user of the product, I've seen the maturation. This is revolutionary, ladies and gentlemen. As we're coming up on some traffic, I-10 seems to be a little bit blocked. Hopefully this doesn't keep us from making our timed appointment. We're cutting it close as it is. Typically I'd leave the house maybe 15 minutes earlier, but today I did not. Either way, we're gonna make it do what it do, baby, and get there when we get there. Hopefully traffic doesn't slow us down too bad. But back to Tesla and the robo-taxi situation. Uber's partnered with a company in the UK, Wave, to provide robo-taxis essentially to Europe. You know, they're gonna have to go through regulation, various different legislation for the EU to make this happen. Tesla has already got FSD in various different countries, including testing in some parts of Europe. They're over there in China, they're in Mexico, they're in Canada, various different locales, right? This will be a global phenomenon that Tesla will be at the forefront of, and kudos to Wave and Uber for being able to, you know, carve the path of driverless ride hail. It'll just make it so much, kind of like how Waymo did over here in the United States. They carved the path to what a commercial autonomous ride hail service could look like, and Tesla's going to run with that and expand on it in so many different ways. We're talking about a scale that is gonna make people's heads spin this time next year. So I look forward to that. I look forward to going to Austin here shortly. Probably won't be able to get a ride in a driverless taxi coming up here shortly, as Tesla plans to go public with their ride hail service, their Tesla robo-taxi, if you will, June 22nd. That's a soft date, depending on safety. The rollout of this thing has to be exquisite, just to say the least, right? We don't want any hitching that giddy up to slow us down. It's gonna start off small and slow at first, and like Ashok said, and then ... They're gonna be everywhere. And to the great benefit of those that, you know, are spending tons of money on Ubers, they're gonna be significantly cheaper just by sheer, you know, just sans driver, you know what I mean? And Tesla does things, everything they put their hands in, they just tend to make it better. I can't explain it. It's just, I love everything that Tesla has put out, from the solar panels to the power walls to the software that, you know, integrates all of these things, including the cars, the supercharger network. It's as if they're using the products and be like, I would love this feature, and lo and behold, I have something that I wouldn't have even thought to do, and Tesla is reading my mind and saying, you're gonna want this, here you go. You're gonna want this, here you go. You would like this, and here, why not? Utilize that. Seasonally, we get updates, spring update, holiday update for Christmas time. It's crazy how customer forward they are. They love pleasing the customer in ways that you might not expect, right? A lot of people complain about customer service. I'm not one of those people, right? Yeah, I mean, the best service is no service. That's their aim. And every time that I have had to interact with service, it might be a little time consuming. And, but once you get to them, you understand that they don't really need to or want to talk to you, right? It's something that I have messed up or I need to do, essentially. Very rarely have I needed customer service because the product failed. It's just one of those things. I don't want them to be the best at customer service. I want to never have to talk to them about the products that I use. I've not had a single complaint about my solar panels and power walls. My vehicles, I rarely have to get them in the service center, let alone have a complaint about how well this thing runs. It's about as efficient as your refrigerator. You never really have to worry about it, ever. So, I mean, there are times I've been fortunate that I've never got a bad apple. Like, I'm not saying that every car that Tesla produces is gold. You might get one that, you know, slips through the cracks maybe from a quality standpoint. You know, it's the world. Every auto manufacturer has situations like that. I've just been fortunate never to have experienced anything traumatic. So, looks like we've gotten through traffic. Our ETA has updated to a sooner time. I'm all about that life. I like being early, not on time. So, we're good to go there. Chinese competition. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Tesla's Model Y, best-selling vehicle in in China. Let's get it. And you know, sales are down year over year. A lot of mitigating factors, socioeconomic, macroeconomic type things going on, obviously. But Tesla still producing despite these headwinds that every auto manufacturer is having to deal with. Also, it's come to light that some of these auto manufacturers in China are falsifying their sales records. A lot of used battery electric vehicles over there in China with very little mileage on it on used car lots. This is posing a problem for these dealers because they're not making a whole lot of money, right? There's just a glut of vehicles over there that very few people are buying. It's posing a interesting problem that I feel will also travel across the pond to every automotive region on the planet, including us over here domestically. So, you know, it is what it is. Let's see. I just want to thank the various different teams over there at Tesla, everybody doing their part to make this my favorite company on the planet, allowing me to utilize FSD where I'm traveling in Houston morning traffic on I-10, not being concerned, knowing my car is safe. It's making all the best decisions and getting me to my appointment, you know, quick, fast, and in a hurry. We're in standard mode. No need to bump it up. We're chilling. We're gonna be there earlier than on time, but you can't get that with any other auto manufacturer. This is something special, ladies and gentlemen. I urge you to go to a Tesla dealership and give it a whirl. They've got that 48-hour test drive, essentially, so you can kind of see what it's like to incorporate a battery electric vehicle into your lifestyle if you've yet to try it. I would urge everyone who's in the market for a new vehicle to at least give Tesla the test drive, and it might change your life as it has mine. What else? that is probably the most sound advice. I had one of the pest control guys come over, do the routine maintenance. He lifted up the garage and saw both the Tesla, the Model X and my Model 3 that we're in right now. And while he was spraying on the inside, you know, he had a little time to ponder on it. He brought up, how do you like the Teslas? You know me, I never turned down an opportunity to gab about Tesla and how it's changed my life. Young guy, early 20s is what it looked like. He's got dreams and aspirations. You know, you see a lot of yourself in the younger generation, and you kind of want to, you don't want to push them. You want to lead them to the water. You can't make them drink. I gave him my referral code just in case, just wanted him to try it. Go give yourself a test drive before you jump into a purchase of something that can't drive itself. And I couldn't drive that point home enough. Like with my nephews, I wish I could have put him in the seat and let him experience the technology for himself. But if he takes that test drive, he can, every one of those vehicles coming out of the factory has the latest and greatest FSD on it. You can power that thing on and experience the future, essentially. And I guarantee you, any other, he had, you know, he's thinking about an EV. He talked about Lucid, he talked about Rivian, Ford, GM. He's like, I don't know which one to get. He's like, but you got 2 Teslas. Why didn't you choose the other ones? And simply put, these are the safest vehicles you can be in. Not to mention, they have the performance if you still want to drive. Me, I don't, you know, I told the young man, I don't drive anymore because this thing drives better than me. It's safer than me. And I don't have the mental wear and tear to have to go through traffic. The intricacies of city street driving down in Houston, dealing with the randomness of humans who are only focused on one thing and one thing alone, themselves. I don't have to worry about that. And as the technology progresses, matures even further, I'm gonna be able to get in the back seat. You know, I'm gonna be able to just do whatever, sleep, you know, work, play. It doesn't matter because the car is going to be able to just alleviate the burden of driving for me. And I'm able to get from point to point safely and without a worry. Like, there's no other brand. Once the other brands get this technology, it might be worth considering. But again, I'm in the ecosystem. I was like, when you saw the cars, did you see the, yeah, he's like, I saw the power walls. He's like, yeah, you got solar panels too, right? And I was like, yep. And I was like, I'm in this ecosystem. All of these things talk to each other. And every time I see a Cybertruck, I kind of count down the days to when I too can be in a monstrous vehicle that will integrate with my power walls and solar panels just better than the vehicles that I currently own. It's going to be, I mean, I'm here. Like, the Cybertruck is not only my new dream car, it is more than likely going to be the next car, depending on these new, cheaper, more affordable models and their capabilities. Or the Cybercab, right? That is also on the horizon. And I'm gonna be like Nelly. I'm gonna need 2 per. Give me 2 per. I need 2 pairs so I can get the stomping in my Cybercabs. You know what I'm talking about? This is Tesla's world. And to quote Dan Ives, everybody else, they're paying rent. This Tesla's world, and they work so damn hard to get to where they're going. And people have doubted them. People have laughed at them, you know, just laughed them out of the room for their ambitions and their aspirations. That's why it's so sweet to be a Tesla investor and a user of these products. You get an inside track on what Tesla can and cannot do. You know, it's like a cheat code. It's a cheat code that every time I have money, the spare money goes into my brokerage account right into TSLA. And I could care less. I could truly care less where the stock price is at, because 10 years from now, I don't know how many splits is going to happen in 10 years, but we're looking at a company that is a multi-trillion-dollar company. Right now trading at just barely over $1 trillion. Sound like a win to me. Sound like a win to me. You know, we're about 8 minutes out from our destination. We just crossed the highways. We're now in the city streets. I think we're on Derry Ashford right now. Kind of like in the heart of Houston. Everybody's getting to and fro work. People got summer school and things of that nature. It's kind of hectic out here. It can be stressful depending on your proficiency of driving or your perceived proficiency. We get 40,000 deaths on US highways a year, and we're also increasing the amount of drivers every single year. Not necessarily professionals, in my opinion. So could the number be higher? Of course. But the goal is to drop that number down. I mean, if we present automation the way it should be, deaths may evaporate, right? I'm not saying accidents will evaporate, but we're talking about fatal car crashes. 40,000 deaths per year on US highways alone. So maybe, just maybe, if we can reduce those deaths, reduce those crashes, we can have a more prosperous way to travel. Yet we just condone it, you know. Anything that kills that many people, we would be in an uproar, an outrage. But because we have to get from point A to point B, we turn a blind eye to it, and we shouldn't. And so now Tesla has a scalable solution to significantly reduce the number of crashes on the road. So I'm all about it. I'm all for it. We might do some driving today. I haven't been in the Uber for a while. Been a few days now, actually. But it's easy money. I really just like being with the dog. He's got so much abandonment issues that even over the past 4.5 years or so, they haven't evaporated. If anything, he seems to be even more just unwilling to be alone. I feel like there's just a lot of undue stress. But maybe this will aid and help, because I'm always around him. Maybe he does need a little bit of separation. So maybe we drive. It might be, it's definitely gonna be a cloudy day. Could be a rainy day. Just want to be of service to the community while making a little paper so we can add to our Tesla position. And, you know, just enjoy the technology of FSD. Talking about Tesla as they get in the car. Most of my Uber drives, they're getting in the car for the first time. You know, just getting in a Tesla for the first time, experiencing FSD. There's a lot of questions to be had. And typically, you know, I'm not even necessarily needed. You know, if we're talking about Austin's potential new build, it's probably got a lot more capabilities to handle the nuances of ride hail. I'm gonna try to get in as much Ubering as I possibly can before it becomes a thing of the past for me. This time next year, I should be able to put Stygian 2.0 on some type of ride hail network for Tesla in some way, shape, or form, right? And that means I won't need to be in the car. But until that time, I love talking to people that may have questions about Tesla and the ecosystem. I love just exposing people to the future. When they get in, they're like, oh, this is nice. And that's just being in the seats and just being in the car itself. It's nice. But then when you look around and you're like, this motherfucker hadn't been driving this entire time. That is something that's like, things that make you say, But anyway, it is fun. And I can see how people just let this happen. The car goes to each of these destinations. It's almost effortless. And the fact that Uber will pay me to do this, yeah, you take advantage of that as best you can. I highly recommend it if you have some spare time. I'm a part-time, but I could see myself doing this for 12 hours a day if I didn't have other responsibilities, things that if I was just super bored or wanted to do this full-time, FSD would make this an easier decision to want to do this full-time. So we'll see if we get out there and do some rides. We definitely need to. But all of the randomness of driving, my spidey sense barely goes off anymore. Barely goes off anymore. As we patiently await for the oncoming traffic to pass in an unprotected left, we keep our out of the other lane that we just exited. I couldn't do it better myself, right? Normally I'm going to be distracted. What's on the radio, or just not paying attention, focused on various different things. This software handles all of those things with the utmost precision. It's obviously a better way to get around. Personal autonomy you can own. Going where a Waymo can't go. No other vehicle gives you this level of freedom. None. Not to mention, if you wanted to drive, it's probably the funnest vehicle to drive. I just don't like driving. If I want to take this to the track and have some fun, I could. But, if I need to get to my appointment 10 minutes early, I'm putting on FSD because I know they're not going to miss any exits. They're going to get there on time as we reach our destination. Even this part is getting much, much better. In, destinations past, it would want to go to the back alley, right? It would want it to make that turn just a little bit too early. But now, we are right where we need to be. The only thing left is for me to have some options. Oh my God, look at this. Is it gonna turn around for me? Yeah, look at this. I don't know what it, that's some weird behavior. Well, we're gonna stop it here. Still, you can see it thinking. And I'm about that life. So we're gonna park this thing